Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Lucas here from No Code Buffs, and in this video, I want to show you how we can work with JSONs inside bubble.io. Okay, so in the last video, we learned how to connect the Perplexity API to Bubble, specifically using the JSON mode. Okay, so the JSON mode means that we are forcing our AI outputs to be bounded to a JSON schema. Okay, so, for example, if we do a web search for a company 5 times, it will come back with different information every time. But if we specify an output JSON, so for example, let's say every time you return information about a company, I want you to output exactly the company name, company URL, and company description. So now, if we do this, we are able to get more consistent results, right? We always know what to expect from the result, okay? So, like I said in the last video, we've set up this JSON schema, which essentially produces the output like this, right? So, it is a JSON containing company name, company URL, and company description. Now, you will get this as a text, and you don't want to show your user the JSON schema. So, I want to teach you how to extract each variable from this JSON and save it into the Bubble database so you can display on the front end to your users. Okay? So, let's take a look at what we currently have. On the API connector, we've set up this call, which is called chat completion JSON mode. We're using Perplexity for this case, but the JSON mode works very similarly in other AI providers as well. Okay, we essentially have a response format, and we specified the JSON schema. Okay, and this is the output that we get. So if we write a prompt, for example, search the web for OpenAI and give me the information specified in the JSON schema. Again, we will receive company name, company URL, and company description. And so let's see how we can extract these values from this JSON and create multiple companies here to display to our users. Okay, so let's take a quick look at our workflow and how it's been set up. So we have this Perplexity call, and then after we receive the response, we're essentially setting the state of the page. Our page is called Perplexity. We have a custom state called response that will hold the output from step one. Okay. Now, I want to be able to save this information in our database. So let's move to the data and create some records let's create companies, right? So, for example, we'll create a new type called company. And in my company, I want to be able to store the company name, which will be a text, the company URL, which will also be a text, and the company description. Okay. And so now, after we extract the response, after we get the response for Perplexity, what I want to do is to create a new company. And on my company, I want to extract the values from the JSON for company description, name, and URL. So here, essentially what we want to do is to use a regex expression. So a regex expression will essentially extract a piece of information from a text, right? So let's see how we can do this here. So to get the response back from Perplexity, we can do result of step one, choices, first item, and then message content. And now we'll use the expression extract with regex. Okay. I have here my regex expression, and you'll just have to take my word for this one on how to extract basically a variable from this simple JSON. If you have like multiple companies in the same JSON or you have arrays, then this regex expression will be different. But for our case, to extract extract a simple variable from the simple JSON, then this is the regex expression that we'd like to use. And then, obviously you can use any, AI and say like, hey, here's my text. Here's the information that I want to extract. Please create a regex expression that will allow me to do that. Okay. So this is how I construct my JSON, my regex expressions. Okay. So instead of industry here, I want to extract exactly the variable from our JSON, and it has to be an exact match, right? So company name, for example, this is our variable, right? And I want to do the same for company URL and company name, right? So this is company description. So for company description, will be something like company description, right? Company name will be company name, and company URL will be company URL, right? So essentially, we are extracting the variables from the JSON and saving into our record in our database. So let's set something up on the design so we can see our competitors, our companies on the database. So let me add a repeating group. And let's set the type of content to company, and then data source will be search for companies, right? So essentially, I just want to see all the companies on my database. Now, set fixed number of rows. We don't need to do that. And let's move fit width to content. Let's remove that so it extends full width on our page. And then let's add a group inside our first cell. Type of content will also be company, and the data source will be the current cell's company. Now, inside this group, what I can do is to set the company name and then retrieve the information from the parents group company name, right? And I can basically do the same for company description and company URL. So this way, we will be able to see all the companies on our database, right? And so here it's company description. Now, let me set some padding here so we can separate the companies. Perfect. Now, what I'm hoping it's going to happen here is that the user will type a prompt and say something like, hey, please search this website and give me information back. And then after he retrieves it, after we receive the information in a JSON structure from that specific company, we will extract the variables from that JSON and create a company on our database. And so let's test this application to see if that actually happens. So our prompt should be something like search the web and give me information about nocodebuffs.com, right? So if you don't know, nocodebuffs.com is a community that I've launched. It's a free community for no-code developers and solopreneurs. And so here you can ask any questions. You can connect with people on the same journey. So I highly suggest you join No Code Buffs and benefit from our entire community. Okay, so let's see what we get here on the response. Perfect. And so we've received the JSON back. So company No Code Buffs, URL and description. And here we have essentially created the competitor on our database. So let's do the same for OpenAI, for example, and let's see what we get. Perfect. We have a new company on our database. So if we go to the data tab and check our companies, we can see here that we have No Code Buffs and OpenAI. So this is how you can successfully extract variables from a JSON. This is a very, very important skill to have when you're dealing with AI applications in Bubble, especially the ones that you will need a specific JSON format on the output. Okay. So this concludes our video for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.